This is Luis Portillo with CS232, the Collatz sequence project. We started by including the IO stream and using namespace std. Then we created a struct called Collatz node, and inside we created an integer called item and a Collatz node that pointed to a link. We then made some declarations: number of terms, sequence num, max number of terms, number with the longest chain, Collatz term, and user num. Then we initialized the head of what would eventually end up being the list containing the longest Collatz sequence. Then we created a cout statement that said enter an integer 100 or less, and we took the number that the user inputted and put it into user num. Then we created a for statement, and inside we initialized the node to help the list for the current Collatz sequence, and then we set the first value of the current list to hold I. And then we initialized a new Collatz pointer that pointed to the current list. Then we created a while statement here that would divide by 2 if the number was even, or it would multiply by 3 and add 1 if the number was odd. Then we added the sequence value that we just found out, and we had it set to current, which I shortened to cur, and have it point to item and sequence num. Then we had the pointer point to the new value, which was cur, and then we moved on to the next one after that. Then we had an if statement here, which pretty much meant if we found a sequence that was longer than the sequence we had previously, it would pretty much take over that, and it would be the new num with long chain. Then we create a cout statement that said the number and then the number with the longest chain produce the longest Collatz sequence of with the max number of terms. And then we put here are those terms. And then we created another while statement here that would pretty much have the head point to the item and traverse the linked list. And then when we run the code, and then we punch in number 9, enter, and then there it is. Number 9 produced the longest Collatz sequence, and here are those terms. The only thing I could not figure out was how to get rid of the end arrow there, but other than that, everything worked out great.